Hey guys, so this video is just to let you know exactly what's happening behind all the text messages, okay? So this is what's happening. All of these are candles. These are candles. This is telling you what's going on in this particular market that we trade, all right? I have this car here because literally what this is like driving down the street this way, forward, and we're taking left turns and we're taking right turns for the whole time. This is price just doing this thing, okay? But instead of left turns and right turns, we just go up or down. So when we say buy, that means we're going up. When we say sell, that means it's going down. That's literally it. It's going up or down as it's traveling down the street, okay? So keep that in mind. Buy and sell is just a direction, up or down, that this car or this market is traveling at any given time. Okay, so I'm actually going to change this to make sure that it's going in the right direction. There we go. So do you need all of this? You don't need to know about all of this stuff. This is all the work that's being done in the back end for you. Okay. So for example, okay, let's go to the 7th, 0930. We start the day at 8:30 in the morning. 8:30 in the morning. Now, do you have to show up at 8:30 in the morning? Absolutely not. But that's when the text messages start going off. Okay. So this is February 3rd. So let me actually exit out of here and start this over. So we're going to go to the 7th at 8:30 in the morning. And this is the start of the day, right? You see how the signal started coming around that time. So when you hear buy or see buy on the screen, that just means the GPS is letting you know that the market is going up at that time. Okay. When you see sell, hey, look, the market is going down at that time. We get paid either way. It doesn't matter as long as it's going in the correct direction. So I'm going to give you an example of what this looks like. Okay. Visibly, this is what's happening on the chart. So when you download the layout, this is what you'll have. It's just two indicators that have a ton of indicators inside of them. But it's doing all the heavy lifting, right? We know that this thing is going up and down. Now you ask, what are these lines and what do these lines mean? These are just pit stops. So this is where we know that the market is going to go. So when you drive, you're going to go to the store. When you drive, you're going to go to the gym. You're going to go to the church. You're going to go to wherever you're going to go to, you're going to have to stop. You're going to get gas. You might go for a long ride somewhere, right? But this is where the market is going to stop at. You see how it's going to stop and then turn around at these places a lot of the time. Went, stopped, turned around, went back up, went and came back. So it's just all these are just the pit stops. And what it means to you is if you open this up and you're actually in a position like this, it said sell and you pressed sell like you're supposed to. Now that gets you in. And your job is to, you see how this money is turning up right here? This is the actual dollars that's on the table. So that's like an Uber ride. And that money is not secured until you press close. The question is, where do I press close? How do I know how far it's going to go? And that is when you look at these lines. Well, where's the closest line? Where's the closest line? Here's one. I know it's going to take a stop right here. So let me take it, let me close. And as you can see, it stopped, it played around, and we can speed it up a little bit more. You You see how it's going back and forth? So that would have been your money fluctuating back and forth, right? Now it may go further. It may go all the way down to this one. It may go down to this one. But what we want to do is not try to get the entirety, get everything out of everyone. We're trying to take a little money out of each and every one of these. And the good part about it is these strategy tests or these reports let us know how well it did over the year or over the last 3 months or over the last 30 days, right? So it tells us how much it would have collected by itself. And this is where, all the techie stuff that I do on the back end comes into play. But this is what it would have done by itself. And this is what the VIP automation people get, right? So if I change one setting, the expectancy is completely different. So over this 90 days, 19,000 would have been made if we did absolutely nothing hands-free, right? Over 1,119 FAMM moves happened during that time. What is a FAMM move? A FAMM move is when, let me see, let me actually turn these off. Okay. Turn these all the way off. Keep these on. Perfect. A FAMM move is when it says sell, we go down, and then it closes, right? It closes. Now, if we want to be technical and really see what's going on, I can hop in here and I can say, show me the trades on the chart that the automation took. And it gives you a whole entire map of all of the different trades that this strategy took by itself. So when I say that it's already a profitable road, it's already a profitable route, it's already a profitable GPS, it's going to keep you going in the right direction for most of the time. This is what I mean, and this is how I know. Now I'll go a step further and show you this. This, these are the different stats, right? It shows you every single trade, every single route, every single one for this entire time. This is a report, right? So the report shows you each and every one for the entire time. So when I download this report, good, bad, and ugly, right? So when I download the report, it also shows me this column right here. Did it go into profit and how much did it go into profit before it closed, right? So we already know that 19,000 was made during this 90 days. That just shows how far out, move by move, exactly how that was made, right? So when I print that out and actually put it into this report, which is going like this, coming here and just downloading this report, then I can put that into AI and it can tell me what the stats are. So when I go over here to these downloads and go to these images that I'm going to open up right now, you see the symbols MYM that we're dealing with right now. I can show you up here. The symbol is MYM. Okay, so when we go over here, this is where these stats are coming from. What actually happened in the past, what actually happened over time. So let's open this up fully. Proof summary. Over the last 365 days, $136,155 was found, right? It went up, it went down, the GPS told you which way it was going to go, and this is how far it went in that direction, the right direction during that time? What's the furthest it went in the right direction overall, right? How much of the time did it actually go into profit? Did it go the right way? 82% of the time, it went the right way. What's the average amount that it went the right way? $30 on average, it went the right way. Over 4,500 trips or moves. 4,500 moves over this 365 days happened. On average, each of them went $30. So that's a crazy Uber, right? That's what's happening right now. This is a crazy Uber on steroids in your hand, and all you have to do is press the button going in the right way that it's telling you to go. Now, this is recent, okay? The last 5 days. So the last 5 days, 95 moves were sent to telephones, cell phones, right? Average per move was $32 in profit per move on average. So that means $3,000 was on the table in the last 5 days just with these buy and sell signals. Now, if nothing was touched and the VIP members didn't even think about it, $667 was captured by itself. So this is what is going on. And this is the last 5 days, right? So how it's counted, right? So this is how it's counted. This is clean and clear. It's counted once. So only completed exit rows were counted. Only completed trips, only completed moves were counted. So the same opportunity was not counted twice. Okay. Normalized to MNQ or MYM. I have this thing twice. So normalized to MYM in this case, because some rows use size 2 and movement net was technical jargon. Basically, we're dealing with one contract, which is the lowest risk possible. So we're not saying, oh, we're betting $100 per mile driven the right way. No, it's just one. Okay. MFE is movement offered. This is not guaranteed profit. So again, we're putting money on the table over and over again. That's like getting a trip on Uber and you can accept or decline it. It's up to you, right? Even if you accept it, you don't have to finish the trip. You can cancel the trip. Uh, the customer can cancel the trip. Anything can happen, but this move was offered. And if nothing was done, if it did it by itself, we already know for that example, $667 was netted the last 5 days out of the 3,104. So this basically gives you an opportunity to do better than the bot, right? By doing what? Taking your profit, closing, right? But we see $30 is the average. So when we see 20, 25, something like that, take it, right? Results may vary. This is historical data, right? This is historical data. But for me, I always stress test it. So I always put worse conditions than what the real world is as I go through. Okay. Now here is NQ, right? This is NQ. So this is another one. We use MNQ on a regular basis. So that same $365, I mean, 365 days, May 9th, 2025 to May 8th, 2026, 5,333 trips were offered, right? Same type of layout, 5,333 moves were offered, right? Out of that, 405,916 plus dollars were put on the table from those moves, those alerts. $400,000 was put on the table. Of course, you're not going to take every trip. Of course, you're not going to take every signal. If you sit and do so, great, no problem. But if you did and you closed it absolutely perfectly at the very perfect dollar, that's what this number is, right? But this is how much profit was on the table in terms of opportunity, which makes this a crazy, amazing opportunity, especially working from home. It's on the table. But do we need all of it? Absolutely not. Now you see this number is different than the MYM. It's 76.11 on average instead of $30. So this one is a little bit faster. It's a lot faster. It's a lot more profit on the table. We use only those two. So between those two alerts coming to your phone, this is the opportunity that's there. Now, 77% of those that came in showed positive movement. Before it was 80, 82, I believe. But this one, 77% actually went positive. But when they did go positive, guess what? It's a lot of opportunity on the table. Okay. The good part about it is it closes itself out, right? We already have it programmed. We already have bumpers. Bumpers are like when you're bowling and the little kids are bowling and they throw it sideways, but the ball stays on the lane and gets to the pins. That's what's happening. We're keeping you safe throughout the time because during this time, when it comes up, it's going to tell you to close before you get messed up, right? Now, if we come back out, look at this. The last 7 day window, 7 days, the last 7 days was $7,067 was put on the table. 85 moves were put on the table. 85 rides, 85 trips, 85 FAMM moves were put on the table. Average per is $83. So it was hot this last week, right? $83 on average per. And then guess what? 83% went into profit. 71 out of 85 opportunities went into profit. So those alerts, they're going into profit at a very high clip. And if nothing was touched, nothing was hit, the VIP members, guess what? $1,400 was locked in by itself. So if you did absolutely nothing, 1,400 was locked in. So again, this is keeping us safe, having positive expectancy, and this is the other opportunity that we have in our hands if we want to touch the button ourselves. We got two buttons to press: buy or sell, whatever way it tells you, and close. That's literally it. Okay. So down here, May 4th, 25 trips were put on the board, 25 rides, 25 prompts, 25 FAMM moves were put on the board, text messages to your phone. 2,000 was on the table throughout all of those. If it was perfectly executed, and that's not going to be the case, but it locked in 770 by itself, even if a human didn't touch it. Okay. 11 prompts on May 5th, 721. And look, it didn't even get any of that. It actually lost money on the 5th, but 720 was available, right? So this kind of eggs you to kind of participate a little bit, but at the same time, you don't have to. May 6th, 16 trips, 1,400 on the table, only 148 was locked in. So you see what's happening here. Massive opportunity on the table, right? And if it's getting locked in by itself, it's going to lock in a little bit and keep it moving, right? So that's what's happening here. So those are the numbers. Now you understand. Hopefully you understand a little bit better how those numbers work. So when I come back here and I go over to its MNQ, Let's actually type in MNQ. So when I come back here and I pull it up, it should show me a very similar story. It's freezing up a little bit, so I'll just make this MNQ. I'll make this and I'll just copy everything over really quickly. So here's the chart by itself. Paste that, regular candles. We'll take this, bring it over. This is our roadmap. These are where all the stops are. And you can see all these little arrows is where this would have been getting in and getting out of the market. Okay. Now we open up the report and looky here, right? January 25th, 2026 to May 8th. So this is just from January. This is the last 6 months. Just the last 6 months. This is what was on the table. Not what was on the table. This was actually taken. Let's move this down to a 1, 32,000. Okay. 32,000 was actually taken. But remember, the number of what was really on the table is always much bigger, right? It's usually much, much bigger than what is actually taken. You remember these numbers. Again, the last 5 days or last 7 days, this is what was locked in, but this is what was on the table. This was locked in. This is what was on the table. So you are extremely valuable pressing those 2 buttons, right? It changes a lot. So 32,000 was locked in these 6 months, a little less than 6 months. But we know that much, much more was on the table. Last year, this is what it looked like, 89,000 and some change for the last year. And again, we saw that a lot more was on the table. Okay. So that's how that works. That's how that works. So it's just doing this job, just going in and out, taking some profit here and there. And that's what it's doing. Now, do we have other bots and other automations that, just go a little bit longer, right? Some people like to have higher time frames. This is, again, 5 minute, but some people like higher time frames. And again, this is how it looks. A buy happens, and if you go in and press buy to go along with it, I'll bring this down to 1. Press buy to go along with it. This is what's happening. Let's go second by second, just so you can see it happening for yourself, so you can get familiar with it if you haven't done so yet. All right, so MNQ, right now, it got to one of those pit stops, right? You see how this says close sell, and then close sell to buy. This is literally what you'll be seeing in your text messages. Close the sell that was over here and buy, right? So that's that. And you see how it really plays with these different levels perfectly, right? So here we go. You see how it says close buy to sell? So let's close the buy. Right. Now that sell that came, it shows up but it doesn't enact until that candle is done, right? So it just gives it some breathing room. So all the technical stuff that's happening inside here, you see none of it, right? You just see the result, right? We said close the buy, we closed the buy, no problem, to sell. Then it said it right back. Hey, look, close that sell and go to the buy, right? Send it right back. So it corrects itself so quickly. And these are the text messages that are coming through, right? Now, what would happen if we slowed this thing down and went on a higher time frame? This is what would happen. So let's go to the strategy report. We can see what would happen immediately, right? The 89,000 turns to 65,000. A little bit less, a little bit more drawdown happens, right? Drawdown is how much money kind of gets tapped into your pocket, right? How much money in your account is lost during that time. So let's see the difference. Right now, we're doing a bunch of small little trips, and it looks like this: 89,000 for the year, 1,800, 4,000 trades. But if we just go up to a higher time frame, like the 15-minute, you see less money is on the table, more risk is on the table, right? More drawdown is on the table. Same thing here, same thing here, right? So we want to have a little happy medium, enough opportunities, because with those, if one happens during the day and you miss it, I mean, you missed it. But over here, you get plenty of opportunities. You don't have to make a ton out of each opportunity. And I think that works out beautifully. So that's that. That's enough for this video. I hope you understand exactly what's going on here. It's the GPS letting you know exactly which way the market is going, and it's working all the time, right? And between 8:30 and 11:30 Eastern Standard Time, and then also from what is this, 1:30, about 1:30 to about 2 or 3 o'clock, it'll be doing its thing. So now hopefully this is not as confusing. And these backgrounds are also just giving you another visual layer when you look at this chart to let what's really happening. That sell happened when it's pink. We got some strength going on as well, right? Blue and blue, that's pretty good. Very color coordinated, very, very simple. That's what's happening here, okay? Are all of these right? They're not going to be right. Not all of them are going to be right. But we have some very, very, very positive expectancy from it, okay? And that's what we're riding on. That's what we're riding on. So until next time, and again, that is just a simple setting that can be fixed like that. You see? So that's that. I can get with you guys soon, and hopefully you understand why we're pressing buy and sell now. Have a good one.